10 times lossless zoom. That was back in about May or April. Now we have this guy. Let's go check out what they did throughout this past half a year. It has a 6.5-inch AMOLED display with a crazy 93% screen to body ratio. But what's really impressive here is that they've managed to incorporate more into the smaller phone body. The Reno 2 looks and feels much more premium compared to before. I actually thought it feels pretty small in my hands, which is insane. They've extended the design philosophy from its predecessor, keeping the cameras tucked inside the glass back with no protruding modules. The curved glass back is pretty prevalent now. We're seeing this from OnePlus, OPPO, Vivo, Xiaomi, So it's not surprising OPPO went for another curved glass back design again. I like this radiant circular ring that glows as it catches light. It's pretty neat and futuristic touch, I'd say. Oh, and also the words on the back actually changed. Now it says designed for Reno. Not sure what that really means, but okay, it's kind of cool. The front camera is still encased inside that shark fin module like before. It gives the phone sort of like a smoothed out feel all around. It's pretty crazy how good phones look nowadays. I can understand if you want to go without a case, but really, how often do you see people go without their case? So design-wise, not a whole lot of new changes. Biggest change is this 4-camera setup right here, and also that little blue glow we see. Comes with a 48-megapixel IMX586 as primary sensor, 13-megapixel telephoto lens, 8-megapixel wide angle, and a 2-megapixel mono lens. I was personally skeptical at first about the addition of a 4th camera lens because from my experience, a lot of manufacturers don't actually take advantage of having that 4th camera, but with the Reno, I was actually pleasantly surprised at how well it did. Here, take a look at some of these comparison shots. On the regular lighting conditions, Reno 2 is sort of exactly the same as the previous 10 times lossless zoom version. I'm just gonna call it Reno 1 right now. Overall image looks great and natural, textures have all been captured, exposure levels are balanced, but I guess somehow the previous Reno did better in terms of shadow treatment. Again, portrait mode, pretty much exactly the same. Reno 2 looks slightly more saturated. Now, ultra-wide, it's clear that Reno 2 is the overall winner here in terms of backlight exposure control. It looks way better than the previous Reno, so this was done exceptionally well. Same thing over here. Backlight treatment was great. Colors look much more vibrant, exposure levels are at a comfortable state, and the grass looks much more detailed than the Reno 1. But somehow when you zoom in, Reno 2 sort of forgot what to do or something and gave a more foggy image. Reno 1 was still great though, so I'm not sure what happened here. You zoom in further, the previous Reno still did a lot better. So, details within shadows look better and it just doesn't look ridiculous. So here are some more attempts at using the Reno 2. Also, one of the cooler features that this guy comes with is its insane video stabilization. When you turn it on, it's almost like a DJI Ronin series drone. Look at that. It's pretty stable, isn't it? So the 16-megapixel selfie camera is actually pretty good, as you can see. It still comes with AI beautifying effects, but not as crazily as before, as you can see. So even though my skin tone is actually still pretty dark, I don't look like a Korean pop star with this. So props to them, it looks pretty natural. And they don't over-sharpen images too. Powered by the Snapdragon 730, and kind of strange that they didn't go for the 800 series Snapdragons. I don't know, but anyway, I haven't had any lag so far, so it may be because it's a new machine, but I do feel like the 730 is quite enough to handle day-to-day tasks and running lots of apps in the background too. So after gaming on this thing for a while, it was pretty smooth overall. The FPS was pretty constant. I didn't get any lag spikes here and there, but I did get that heating issue that I always mention with a lot of phones, because even though they mentioned they have liquid cooling or some kind of cooling, hyper cooling, whatever cooling, the heating issue is still there. I love how big, battery capacities are coming to these days. 4,000 mAh battery. It feels so great to have that extra juice and a slow battery drain. Just watching videos at 1080p for about 2 hours on maximum brightness is nothing. The battery dropped about 8% more or less, a little better than the Reno 1, so it's pretty great. And coupled with that, OPPO's new VOOC Charge 3.0 is pretty blazingly fast. I mean, from 9% to 80% in 45 minutes, guys. I'm always impressed by the charging speed and the battery capacity that we're having these days, but it's also kind of scary to think about how fast we're charging. You don't know if it's gonna explode like the Samsung Galaxy, whatever. So anyway, as well, it comes back with a headphone jack. Yay! Somehow it's also a feature now. Great. The Reno 1 didn't have it, so it's pretty great that they also slimmed the body down and had a headphone jack. Right, if you guys are wondering, these that I'm wearing right now, these are OPPO's new Bluetooth headphones that are retailing at about 599 yuan, so about $85 US, same as the OnePlus Bluetooth wireless. And they're pretty great. They're called the Anko Q1s. What should I tell you guys? Besides the fact that you can't use them when they're charging, the sound quality is actually pretty nice. It doesn't have the strongest basses, but the mids and highs are pretty crisp and well defined. And also when you're listening to music, it has a good depth and layer to the different sound channels, so that's pretty fantastic from them. Now the noise cancelling on these guys they're pretty good for their price, but if you're comparing to something like the Bose QC30s, can't really do that because these are still shy of that. You still have to turn the music up to a good volume before you can start feeling the magic of the noise cancelling. But again, these are priced at about $85 compared to the $300 of the Bose QC30. So there's that big, if you're on a tight budget, you might want to go for these because they're actually pretty good. Even though it's only been a few months since they last released the Reno, this one was still pretty great. I thought the big changes were really logical and they were helpful. It makes the phone a lot better. All right, so that's about it for the Reno 2. Thanks for watching, guys. I will see you guys later.